Okay, so yesterday we read Aesop's Fox. Um, I encourage you, if you don't remember some of the key elements of this story and what we said about the questions, go back and rewatch that lesson. As I reread the questions, I decided we might need a refresher with just a couple things. I already went over the elements of what helps you identify this text as a fable. Remember, you can always go back into your literacy book, and there's the anchor chart before the story when we have a new genre. Um, you're going to basically check off which things from that anchor chart you recognize from Aesop's Fox, and that's what helps you recognize this particular story as a fable. Again, I went over this in a lot of detail yesterday, so if you need help, go back to that video. Now, number 2 says explain the author's use of dialogue in paragraphs 9 and 10. So I went ahead and underlined paragraphs 9 and 10. It says, "Wait," said Fox. "When your dear uncle sang, he shut his eyes very tight and stretched his neck very straight. Then he sang his heart out." "I can certainly do that," said Rooster. "He shut his eyes very tight and stretched his neck very straight. Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo." So, remember that dialogue is when there's conversation happening between the characters. This is generally illustrated with the use of quotation marks, which I have circled right there. And now the question is, how does it help you predict what will happen next? Well, what is the fox doing? Okay. There's a lot of flattery that is going on in this fable. And so I want you to think about, if the rooster is now closing his eyes and singing and is seemingly distracted, what is that going to allow the fox to do? And so, what can you predict is going to happen next? Now, you already know what's going to happen next, but how does the dialogue help you understand that? And now, a lot of times, with dialogue, the reason that the author uses it is in pieces of text is to help the reader to get to know the character better. When we're reading dialogue, it's almost like we know what is in that character's brain. It helps us understand the emotions and the actions, but it's also showing reality because day to day we talk to people, right? And in a fable, the characters are generally animals that have human-like characteristics. So if they are talking to each other, it again is giving them those realistic qualities that humans have. Now, let's go back. I went over 3 yesterday of what imitation is and the interaction between fox and donkey. But I wanted to go over 4 again with that word synthesize. It says synthesize information to make a connection between the characters of Rooster and Crow. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about Rooster and Crow. That's on you. But I want to remind you that synthesize is when you are putting everything you've learned about the characters and the story together. You might have an idea in your head of what's going to happen, but then as you start putting things together, it can change. So I want you to look. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So we already have our background knowledge, which is schema, okay? But as we're reading, remember, we're making connections with things and we're asking ourselves questions, we're inferring, okay? We're using our mental images in our brain to predict things that can happen or to better understand what could happen. So I want you to synthesize information to make a connection between the characters of Rooster and Crow. So how might they be similar, or how might they be different? What is the connection that they have? Okay. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I I already went over the science and the math. I will not post a video for science. I'm going to do an optional video again that you can watch for YouTube. And then I just want you to answer the question that I have. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will check in tomorrow. Bye.